My name is Chloe, and for 7 years, I was the ghostwriter of my own life. I co-founded one of the most successful home and lifestyle blogs on the internet, The Gilded Nest, with my best friend, Sasha. Or, to be more accurate, I founded it and she, my best friend, became its face. If you've ever seen a pin on Pinterest for effortless autumn tables capes or DIY antique mirror finish, you've likely seen my work. You've just never seen my name. Sasha and I were a perfect pairing in the beginning. She was the beautiful, bubbly, camera-ready front woman, I was the engine in the dark. I wrote every word of every blog post. I took and edited 99% of the photos. I designed the website from scratch, taught myself CSS to perfect it, and handled all the SEO, the brand outreach, and the ad monetization. Sasha's job was to exist beautifully within the spaces I created and to be the one who charmed brands on introductory Zoom calls. It worked. We went from a dinky little blog to over 2 million monthly readers, a book deal, and a line of scented candles sold at high-end boutiques. But like a photograph left in the sun, the balance of our partnership began to fade. It started with little things. In interviews, she'd use the royal we. We felt the market was missing a touch of rustic authenticity, she'd say. Then, slowly, it became I. When I came up with the concept for The Gilded Nest, I knew I wanted. I'd bring it up gently. Hey, that magazine article didn't mention me at all. Kind of a bummer, I'd text her. She'd reply with a flurry of heart emojis. OMG, I know, see. They just edit it how they want. You know you're my rock star. We're a team. But the next time, she'd post a photo on Instagram of a gorgeous tables cape I'd spent 12 hours sourcing and styling, and the caption would read, "Spent all day getting this just right for you guys." Feeling so creatively fulfilled. She wouldn't tag my personal account. When I asked her why, she'd say, "Oh, it just clutters the aesthetic. It's for the brand, you know." I was the brand, but I was also being told to stay behind it. The money was another sore spot. We split everything 50-50 in the beginning, but as we got bigger, she convinced me it made more sense for all the income to go into a business account that she primarily managed. She'd then pay me a very generous salary. "It's just cleaner for taxes, babe," she'd insisted. But her business expenses started to include month-long trips to Bali for inspiration, a new luxury SUV for transporting props, and a down payment on a house with her fiancé, Mark. My salary never changed. Mark was her biggest cheerleader. He was a finance bro who saw our blog as a dollar sign and Sasha as the racehorse. Whenever I'd voice my frustration, he'd put on his patronizing, big brother voice. "Chloe, you've got to see the big picture. Sasha is the talent. She has the it factor. You're the nuts and bolts. Every successful business has that division. Don't get emotional about it." I started to feel like a well-kept secret. At industry parties, Sasha would introduce me as my partner, Chloe. She's the genius who makes our website so pretty. It sounded like a compliment, but it felt like being described as a talented appliance. People would smile politely at me before turning back to Sasha to ask about her creative process. My process. The slow erosion of my spirit was constant. I was a placeholder in the success story I was actively writing every single day. The worst part was that I let it happen. I avoided the big, ugly confrontation because I was terrified of losing my best friend and the beautiful thing I had built. I kept telling myself that the work should speak for itself. That eventually, one day, she'd have to give me the credit I deserved. That day came, just not in the way I expected. A few months ago, we were nominated for a Lifestyle Innovator of the Year award. This was the big one. The validation I'd been craving. It meant a main stage acceptance speech at a huge gala, a feature in a major magazine, everything. I thought, this is it. This is the moment she can't possibly ignore me. When we win, we will walk up on that stage together. The night of the awards, Sasha was a whirlwind of excitement. She showed me the custom gown she'd had made, talking non-stop about what she was going to say in her speech. "Do you think I should start with a joke or something more emotional?" she asked me while I was literally on my hands and knees, steaming the wrinkles out of her train. I just looked up at her, steamer in hand, and said, "I think we should just speak from the heart." She blinked, not catching my emphasis. "Totally. Okay, so I'll speak from the heart." The dread in my stomach felt like a lead weight. As we sat at our table during the ceremony, my hands were ice cold. Mark was on Sasha's other side, rubbing her back and whispering in her ear. I was just there. When they finally announced our category, I felt my heart pound in my throat. And the Lifestyle Innovator of the Year award goes to The Gilded Nest. Sasha let out a shriek that turned every head in the ballroom. She leaped to her feet, kissing Mark deeply before she practically floated toward the stage. She didn't look back at me once. I stayed frozen in my chair, a fixed, brittle smile plastered on my face as a spotlight swept past me to follow her. The applause felt like roaring in my ears. I watched her ascend the stairs, my best friend, the face of my life's work, stepping into a spotlight that was supposed to be for both of us. She took the heavy glass award and beamed, holding it to her chest. "Oh my God, I'm speechless," she began, perfectly composed. She thanked the Academy, her agent, her parents. She gave a long, gushing tribute to Mark, calling him the wind beneath my wings. My stomach twisted. Then, she paused for effect, looking out over the crowd. "Building a brand from the ground up is the loneliest thing you can ever do," she said, her voice catching with emotion. "You pour every ounce of your soul into it. And I just want to thank everyone who has followed my journey." She was about to wrap up. I could feel it. This was it. She was going to walk off that stage. But then she stopped, as if remembering a final detail. "Oh. And I have to give a huge shout out to my amazing friend and assistant, Chloe. She handles all the boring tech stuff so I can focus on being creative. I literally couldn't do it without her." The camera found me. A giant screen projected my face for the entire room to see, a tight, desperate smile trying to hide the utter devastation. The polite applause felt like 1,000 tiny needles. Assistant. Boring tech stuff. She had taken 7 years of my writing, my photography, my strategy, my very soul, and dismissed it as clerical work in front of our entire industry. In that moment, something inside me didn't just break, it vaporized. I didn't wait for her to come back to the table. I stood up, walked out of the ballroom, and took a cab home in a silent, white-hot rage. The frantic text started immediately. "Where did you go? Come celebrate. Are you okay? Mark is ordering champagne, get back here." I ignored them. When I got back to our shared office, the spare bedroom in my apartment, I sat down, not at my desk, but at hers. I looked at the vision board we'd made years ago, covered in pictures of sun-drenched Italian villas and magazine covers. My dreams. Her face. I felt an eerie calm wash over me. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was simply going to correct the record. I spent the next 4 hours executing a plan with surgical precision. I was, after all, the one who handled the boring tech stuff. First, I logged into our hosting provider and changed the primary email and password to my own personal ones. Second, I did the same for our domain registrar. The Gilded Nest, the digital real estate I had built, was now legally and digitally mine alone. Third, I accessed all of our social media accounts, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, and changed every password, enabling two-factor authentication linked exclusively to my cell phone. Fourth, I logged into the business bank account. I calculated exactly 50% of the current balance, down to the cent. I transferred that half to Sasha's personal account with the memo, "Final partnership distribution." Then I transferred my half to a new account I'd opened in my name only. Finally, the masterstroke. I unpublished the entire Gilded Nest website. Every post, every photo, every DIY tutorial. And in its place, I published a single, elegant landing page. On it was a new logo, CHLOE. The Architect. Below it was a single, beautifully written post. The title was, "The Story of the Gilded Nest, by the Woman Who Built It." It was not angry or emotional. It was factual. I laid out the timeline of the brand's creation. I included screenshots of my initial concept documents, my original logo sketches, and excerpts of early emails between Sasha and me where I pitched her the entire idea. I embedded links to my photography portfolio. I didn't call her a monster. I just calmly and thoroughly took credit for my own work, ending with a simple line: "The Gilded Nest was a partnership in name only." Today, that name changes. I am the architect, and I am finally moving into my own house. The fallout was nuclear. At 3 a.m., my phone began ringing incessantly. It was Sasha, hysterical. I let it go to voicemail. "What did you do?" she screamed, sobbing. "It's all gone. The website, the Instagram. Chloe, you're ruining me. This is insane. You can't just steal my company." The next call was from Mark. "You better undo whatever the hell you just did, you jealous little psycho," he snarled into the voicemail. "We will sue you into the ground. Sasha is the face of that brand. You're nothing." By morning, the story was spreading like wildfire through our community. Sasha had taken to her personal Instagram, posting a tearful, filter-heavy video about being hacked and betrayed by a bitter employee who couldn't handle her success. Her followers flooded her with sympathy. But then, something else happened. The comments sections of industry blogs and my own new landing page started filling up. A brand manager we worked with wrote, "I'm not surprised. I always wondered why all the strategy emails came from Chloe but Sasha was the one on the calls." A photographer I'd hired once commented, "Chloe art directed my entire shoot. She has an incredible eye." The quiet professionals, the other nuts and bolts people in the industry, saw the truth instantly. They started sharing my post. My family, who had always worried about my lack of a real job, is horrified. My mom told me I had set a bomb off in my own life and that I should have handled this like a mature adult. Sasha's friends are plastering my old social media with snake emojis. I've already received a cease and desist letter from a lawyer Mark hired. I feel completely justified in my actions, like I've taken back my own name. But watching the chaos unfold, a part of me wonders if I went too far. I didn't just quit, I took a flamethrower to a 7-year partnership and friendship. So, Aita for completely dismantling the brand I built from the inside out after my partner publicly erased my contributions?